Hello. Should all be up and running now. Give it a second for it to always refresh on YouTube. Sorry that we're a day early today. I always find that catches people off guard, but I'm away this weekend, so I had to do the stream a day early rather than the usual Friday, but we'll be back next week on Friday, as it should all be back to normal. Yeah, another day in the studio, and this week has mostly been about finishing off issue 2 of Fruit, the thumbnail script, everything like that. So lots of writing and drawing all of the thumbnails, and then been trying some new stuff with the thumbnails, using sort of tone and everything in the thumbnails themselves, so that I can save a bit more time when it comes to the actual final pieces. And then that's pretty much about it. Did a little bit of painting, but kind of fine with painting. It's just difficult if you haven't done it for a couple of weeks or whatever. It just takes almost like 1 or 2 paintings to get back into it. It's such a kind of difficult skill that you kind of have to keep honed. I always find that I always lose a little bit, get a bit rusty, because you kind of have to, well, I find anyway, the way I paint, you have to keep concentration the whole time. I've always said that I really wish that I could paint just sort of, very fluidically, but unfortunately I need to be very regimented in the way I paint, and it's always drawing, under drawing, painting, under painting, and then first layers, and then finishing layers after that. So usually takes ages, but maybe one day I'll get to be a bit more impressionistic with my work. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We are working today on this Batgirl Commission, which is what we started working on the last couple of weeks, and just trying to get to be a bit more finished with the sketch, and then we'll probably move on to inking it digitally, I think, actually, which I'm quite excited. Sorry, not inking it traditionally, I reckon. So I'll probably print this out on a blue line, and then could run through all those steps as well, which would be quite fun, just to show people how I take sort of these digital sketches and turn them into sort of the final traditional pieces. Just trying to work out a little bit more on this sketch. I hope everyone is doing well, and as you say, if you've got any questions or anything, then let us know in the chat. We do have a couple of links in the description as well, where you can find my Instagram, but also you can find links to the Discord as well. So the Discord is just it's a small group of people that also make comics, and just chat about comics that they're working on, and projects they've got coming up. So it's a fun sort of place to share your work, and if you're interested in comics or just want to find out more, then you can join there, which will feel free. So just trying to work out this arm a little bit to like a elbow so sharp. Oh, if you do hear in the background, that's probably the dog, Tulip. She's a little bit of a complainer. She likes a whinge. And then shoulders. It's probably stepping out way too far, isn't it? See where this. Let's try and thin this one out. So, actually think that I want to move this away. It's going to come down a lot straighter down as well. From there. A bit too round at the top. Can sort that out. I think that this bit of separation actually would be quite nice between this hair shape as well, I think, and the shoulder. Stop it from becoming one kind of mass. And then a bit more on there. try and work out this bat glove situation. Never really quite sure what they were meant to be, but can never really work out what those parts of little wrist spikes. They're in the wrong place anyway, so. Ba-bam. Seems a little bit thin on this side, so we'll just widen that up a little bit. And this will be just a little indication of the hand so far. Work that out a little bit closer to the time. I think this elbow seems a little bit low. Feels like it would go bicep into a nape there. And then you'd get like a elbow sort of here-ish. And then I can widen up this form a bit. Bum, 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 bum. Trying to think of it more of a glove needs to be a bit wider as well. Kind of take into account that. It's feeling a little bit flat, but can try and work out some ways to make it rounder, or alternatively, if it's just not really like, not getting that angle, but I think actually this is much more fun. You know. Bum, bum, bum. Right. have it kind of loop around a bit more this way. Oh, then I think something a little bit we can. I think this needs to get cropped a bit closer as well. This is probably lower than we're expecting here. Alright. I do think this is a little bit too wide as well. Just make it a bit more sensible. Yeah, I think that's like this hair shape to become a bit more direct. Also not sure I even want the cape, to be honest with you. I think gonna have to kill our darlings and say no capes. Just think that that shape is not really something that I want, and it kind of fights a lot with the pose. I might eat my words on that one. It's a really messy bit of underdrawing. Okay. I'm trying to think of the hair as a bit of one single shape, like a mass of its own. Right. I don't know what's going on with that arm there. Need to rethink that one. Cool. Let's have a look at what it looks like. I think that badge is, that's not too bad. Something like that for the chains. This one's definitely chunky. Right. Right, there we go. We'll get some a little bit of that's definitely not how that's going to work. Detailing onto that button. It's probably going to end up being, oh, well, that looks crap. Little bit overdone. That line's really distracting me. Trying to work out. feels a little bit more cooler to have a bit more of a elaborate lacing pattern. Foot is eluding me a little bit. Maybe something like this, and we'll work out how this is going. But yeah, that foot isn't right at all. And trying to get a bit more of a it's probably going to be a bit more pointed, something like that. I reckon, yeah, there we go, that's it. And then I'll try and sometimes these chisel pens are super annoying because they overlap themselves loads, and then they'll so you can kind of get this like double up, and it doesn't look the best, I don't think, but that's okay, it's not gonna come up in the inks too much. This leg is looking a little bit needs to be a bit more shaped, I feel like. It's not hello. How is it all going? Thank you for joining and hanging out. Just trying to work on this commission a little bit. Bum, bum. Just trying to work out how this back leg is going. That's a monstrous calf. That's probably a little bit better shape wise. This is the wrong angle as well, because we're looking up. It's going to be going back on itself. Colours, I haven't decided yet. I did a study a while ago actually. Let me have a look. Dun, dun, dun. That is not the right one. Oops. God, you know what? I'd really do well if I organised any of the files on my computer. Oh. I just realised what the problem is here. This Photoshop file is in black and white. Let me... Well. Oh, that's so annoying. Right. For some reason, the template that I always use for comics and stuff is set to grayscale, so that I don't use like different variations of grey. There you go. This was the initial thought, to something super bright, pastel-y. We've made a few different changes. Ditched the cape, not feeling the cape. I didn't really like the shape that it would sort of compete with, because you had this shape going this way, and then this shape also going this way, and this was your original, so it's kind of like very heavy on this side for the composition. I didn't really like the direction that it was pulling it in, so we decided to get rid of that, and then also change up the hair a bit, going for a hair down moment. I feel like it's a bit more fun, and then I think kind of getting there with it really. See if I can go back to the old Photoshop setup, because it's got, there you go, different layers. This is the so this is the kind of sketch for the character, and then I'll work out how this background is gonna jump in. I'll probably do the background on paper itself rather than having to spend too much time with the on stream kind of rendering each little tiny bit. But yeah, the Kuromi is pretty cool. I think we had a whole conversation last stream about what character Batgirl would have on her keychains. I have no idea what these little things are on her little wrist things. Don't even know if I like them, to be honest with you. I think they're a bit of awkward shape. All right. We will hold off on those for the moment. Which actually does remind me, I need to post that on the Instagram. I was meant to do that. I always normally post at the same time. I don't know if that actually changes anything, but I try my best to do it right. You'll see some live social media. Right now. Nope, that's the wrong one. Again, is also the wrong one. Right, there we go. This is the behind the scenes. But yeah, so from here, the way that you get it onto paper, so like to do it all traditionally, is I convert all of the digital blacks to like a blue line. I have a preset which is very convenient for me. So if I show you all here, and you go to my preset, change it to the blue line, so it will change it all to like a non-photo reproduction blue, and then I can print that out on my printer here on Bristol board, and then I can ink it traditionally, and then none of the blue will show back up when you scan it in. I usually drop the opacity quite considerably as well, so that I can kind of work from it as well. But that's the main sort of workflow that I do for it. Do you know what? I really feel like I need to do like some sort of course or something on social media captions. I'm talking, so I just feel like I'm so bad with them.
Really?
Yeah. I'm talking to... You're okay. But yeah. But yeah, I've normally got a few more things to finish up on here. I need to work a little bit more on the bag and the trinket as well. Hopefully that will not take too long. And then the laces on the boots as well, which is kind of one of those like mindless tasks, but unfortunately you kind of have to just sort of rip it really, because otherwise you'll be there for ages. Bum, bum, bum. Oh. Right, let's have a look. I need to pull up a reference for Kuromi, because I can't remember off the top of my head what looks like, but she is my favourite of all the Sanrio characters. Little fun fact. What are you all up to today? What's you all working or? This is starting to look really cursed. See it. Yeah, Kuromi is definitely the best. I also like what's the other one? I like Hang Yodon, the little fish man. I like him a lot as well. Was always my God, there's some crazy ones actually. There's Yoshi Kitty as well. It's a combination of a Japanese rock star and Hello Kitty together, apparently. Just working, yeah. I get you. It's tough out there. I need to there you go. Need to post that on my story. She's got like it's like a skull thing on top. Very cool. Oh yeah, cinnamon roll is a classic. I feel like now though, she's kind of got to where like Hello Kitty is and a little bit too popular. I think it needs to be time for some of the lesser known Sanrio characters to have their moment in the sun. Although I guess Kuromi is probably as well known as all of them, to be honest. So I'm trying to think about the like form and how it's turning around. So it's kind of this way. So like this and this. And then this is going backwards, and they're actually not, I'll take these off because they're not flat triangles, they're kind of more like diamondy shapes, according to my reference. And then and then like this way. Would be the I reckon. And then she's got like little button nose. Something like this. I reckon. And I've got to make sure that head is the right shape. Kind of, I'm not going to see as much of this back side of the head because it's rolling back the way. In perspective, like if you wanted to see how it looks, get my reference out of the way. So this is a 1 point little art hack drawing Kuromi. Everything is just a box, and this is a 1 point perspective, so you can see the perspective lines that I've got in the background. I bring up the opacity, you can see all the little gradient lines, and they're all coming back from this 1 point, which is kind of on the horizon back here. Make it a bit easier. And so Kuromi's head is basically in a box that you could say is kind of floating back the way. And so you probably wouldn't see as much of this back face because of where the perspective is. So she would be a little bit flatter. And she'll sit a little bit further back that way. I've got no idea what that bit I was drawing. Oh, is that the tail? I think that was actually meant to be their tail. So, right, we'll... Oh, I saw they were like advertising it on YouTube, right? They were doing some stop motion. They did like a little couple of YouTube shorts for it. Is it like a full-fledged film? Because they did like a cinnamon roll Netflix series. Or they were planning to do one. I am very excited. I used to have a chromey earring that I wore a lot. I've actually lost it, so I don't really know where it is. Maybe I'll bring it back. Right. I think that's a better shape to lose that one there and have this more space. Oh yeah, I think it is going to be a series on Netflix. Certainly we will do. We've got a big, I think this month is going to be a big month for shows, actually. I think there's the second season of Dan to Dan is coming out, which I'm very excited about. And then Getchia Atakuta is also another anime that's coming out this month, which I'm very excited about as well. That's kind of the graffiti one. It's about people have a sort of throw stuff away, and it's about the sort of love that people have for objects that have been for a long time in their life, and like the value of our trash. So I'm excited to watch that. And then been watching Witch Watch, which we absolutely love. It's very funny, like a comedy sort of anime about a witch and like her love triangle of familiars that she has. Let's be a bit shorter. So it's going to be a big month for shows. need to try and find where that. Get rid of the random guide stuff that I've drawn around here. I think it's pretty close. Trying to work out this satchel situation, something like this. The folds of that, and then some sort of bottom edge there. That looks pretty good. I see this needs to come down more. Again, because of the perspective on these boots, they're not going to be curving up, they're going to be curving down, kind of like this way. And try and find where that line is. Just gonna rotate. I always never put things in because my screen that I'm working on, the like Wacom, is way bigger than the screen for the stream, and so I always end up like working on something like over here or like over here, and then it's never actually shown on the screen. You can always see it on those, like I post like time lapses of these streams, and then you can see me move the canvas around and then never get it back into a place that's useful. Quite like the tiny little bits there. Let's just clean up some of these chain pieces. Knowing it's a little bit of grunt work, to be honest, but got to be done. So that one is over. So this is going. Trying to work out which bit of the chain is which. This one is over the top, and then this you would see. Sort of fold there. I reckon. And then that's square this way. And then we're going to have this one come out this direction like a weird link. And then this one is over. This one's this way. Like this. And then this one is also over. So this will be gone, this is gone, this way, it's fine, it's fine. This one is over, this way, and then this will go over here, and then this kind of skirts back under this bit there. Cool. So for the mask, these lines will be a bit thicker. So we're looking up and we're seeing the underside of those, and then maybe like some creases to make it look a bit more real. And then so one thing that I do think I also like or a little bit of a tip is right here. We've got a section where shadows are meeting like a dark shape, and shadow masses don't really hold a lot of visual information. It's just kind of like a scale, like if you have light and shadow, and then this is like visual detail or information. It kind of does this, where like the most amount of information is actually in the mid-tone of the object, and then the shadows, it's almost completely like blacked out or void of information, and then in the lights, where it's over here, it's like super blown out. Sort of something like this little section here is quite meant to be like a blowout of a light, so there's very little visual information. And so for this shadow mask, rather than having this really strong line where the mask meets the hair, you can kind of just like blow it out and push the shapes into each other and just unify it in one section, and it really helps to make it feel a little bit more real, because there wouldn't actually be any information here, whereas on this side where you've got like more of a mid-tone, you're going to be able to see all of that information, because that's where the most detail is going to be held. So you keep a lot more of the line work on this side, whereas you can actually just black out and like consolidate that into one shape, and it'll still hold pretty true for it to look like a three-dimensional form. And you can kind of do that a couple of times. So like, for example, like down here where the skirt meets the legs, I can just blow this whole section out and consolidate all of that. You see what I mean? So I don't have a ton of detail for it, but this big shadow shape can all kind of join together, and it's going to feel like it's all in unison. I'm going to get rid of my little art graphs. I don't really like these scraggly edges here. Also thinking about just rounding these off a little bit more. I feel like a bit more of a softer shape. Something that I want here. Not like a super aggressive shape. Ooh. Trying to work that one out. Okay. And then I'll denote this with like a little ledge. And then that will be enough to kind of highlight the fact that it's mask and hair kind of connected together. Cool. Right. Got this little big chunky belt situation as well. Getting it to like overlap. That tangent's really annoying me right there. This little bit here where the chain and the belt are joining together, so I'm gonna bring that belt lower and then that chain can join here, and it's not gonna have the same problem. This does seem a little bit high though. Bring this down. I reckon. So I don't think that would actually step out. I'm trying to think about how it would be in. It's going to be. I think that's what's been annoying me the whole time. Is it's actually going to be like way tighter. I think that actually looks a lot better. It's not going to step out quite so much. It's kind of backwards in space. Just need to work out what's going to go on with this skirt. I'm just going to have little bat signals, whatever it is, all over it. That'd be quite fun actually. Be a pen and a bum to draw them all, but he says drawing them all. It might be quite a cool idea. I'll have a think about that. Right, last little bit that I'll do is these little bows, and then that'll be it for me for today, because I've got some more work to get on with for fruit. As I said a bit earlier in the stream, that I'm finishing off the thumbnails for issue 2 at the moment, and then that along with the script to get sent off to the editorial team, and then any sort of changes and stuff get issued, and then I'll make those changes and then hopefully draw it, and then once it's been drawn it gets scanned in and I colour it and all of that. So it's an endless amount of jobs until it's finally done, but I'm looking forward to being able to share it with everyone. Yeah, 'cause it's been kind of like the best part of a year now in the making, since I originally did the first Kickstarter, and yeah, it was really cool that I had a couple of people that were like supporting the Kickstarter at the beginning, kind of reached out and were sort of asking about when it was going to come back, and yeah, excited to say that it will be back in October time. The best way to find out more about Fruit is to keep an eye on my Instagram or other social medias, but yeah, you can find that in the description of the video, and also you can join my Discord, which is just a small Discord of just artists and people that are interested in making their own comics or drawing art for comics, and they sort of share a little bit of their work and stuff. It's just a little small community, and if you've got anything that you're working on or wanted to share or get feedback or sort of just help from, you know, people that are in the same boat as you, then you can yeah, join there. It's a fun little space. I'm trying to think about how this bow is gonna. I'll work that out later. I think it's gonna be a crossover, isn't it? Something like this. I tell you what, since I've been doing Fruit, I've got pretty good at drawing high heels. Mainly just because I think the characters, because they're constantly running, I think it's quite funny that they're running in big over-the-top platform shoes, but right. Just want to bring this back because it's annoying me that it's all in a different tone. Cool. I think I'm gonna leave it there for today's stream and the efforts. Thanks everyone for joining. Let me see if I think I managed to sort that chat out. It's just not quite big enough for the most recent message. I need to sort that out later. Cool. Yeah, thank you everyone. Appreciate you joining and sort of coming along with this commission. I think next week, hopefully, I should be able to maybe do something on this on paper. So we'll get it printed out on the blue line, like talked about, and then yeah, you can do some actual inking, which will be pretty fun, and sort of go through that sort of tool. So I'll work on the setup for that, and yeah, I'll see you all next week.